Hi everyone, and thanks for being with me. I want someone to explain to me why the Abbott government would advocate for and insist upon their ability to be able to recognise Indigenous people under the Constitution, and then years later choose to take a completely different approach. What happens within a particular party's dynamics, thinking, political persuasion, whatever you like to call it? What happens that changes their views in such a dynamic way? Now, my argument basically is that they want to use every opportunity they can to score political points. And it's really sad, I think, that had they chosen to take a bipartisan approach towards the referendum, we wouldn't be sitting here today having this discussion and wondering where Indigenous people now sit as a result of so many Australians, 2/3 in fact, saying no to the referendum. I think part of the problem is that they saw a political opportunity to have a go at the government around this particular issue, even though they know that the recognition of Indigenous people was important to Indigenous people, and that particular type of statement was made at the Garma Festival by Abbott some years ago. And so my question to you is, why did they change their minds? And I've got a clip here of Tony Abbott talking at Garma, and I would like you to consider, why would he take the attitude that he does in this video and yet completely reverses his viewpoint, which then becomes the Liberal and National Party's viewpoint when the referendum was called? So let me know what you think in relation to any of this.
Here. I want to say that it's great to be here at the Garma Festival. I want to say that as far as I am concerned, one of the most important things that any new government could achieve would be the final recognition of Indigenous people in the Australian Constitution.
I think that particular statement says it all. What he's saying there, that according to Abbott, back when he did this video some years ago, made this statement, that he believed that Indigenous people should be recognised within the Constitution.
As far as I am concerned, and I'm speaking now as a Conservative, the great unfinished business of the constitutional process back in the 1890s, the great gap in what was done then was that it didn't involve a single Aboriginal person. And yes, that failure was a failure of those times. Indigenous recognition would not be changing our Constitution, but completing our Constitution. And until this is done, our country will not be whole.
There you go. You have it. Abbott himself believed that unless Indigenous people were included in the Constitution, which was a failure of those people that set the Constitution up in 1901, that it was up to us to change it. Now, what changed Abbott's view around all of that? Because he went on Sky News, he and Cruella Credlin got together and they talked about how inappropriate it was that the Constitution should not be changed, and there's all these other opportunities for Indigenous people, and there's heaps of organisations that represent them, and that their voice for some reason no longer mattered. And that is an incredible about-face from where he was back then when he was at Garma. So what actually did change? Now, there's lots of people on some people, not lots, but there's some people on my channel who object to some of those issues that I raise in relation to the Liberal Party. I would like someone to explain to me, what is the significant change that has taken place since then and now? Now, you could argue, and I accept this, that maybe it was the wording of the Constitution, maybe it was the fact that The Yes campaign put the No campaign put a fantastic presentation forward, that there was a lot of doubt within the community anyway. But the fact still remains, I think, that 60+% of people prior to the referendum being called were in favour of the change. And had the Liberal Party and the National Party, but had the Liberal Party particularly, chose to support this change, it would have taken effect, because the No campaign wouldn't have been as toxic as it was. So let me know what you think. I will be making a few more comments, I guess, over time in relation to Indigenous affairs and how the referendum has impacted them and will continue, I think, to impact them over time. And that discussion clearly needs to be had. So could you please subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications, make any comments down below. Love to hear from you, regardless of what you have to say. And all I can say is take care, look after yourself, and be safe.